Konnichiwa, Yama-sensei. We are from Group 3, Skareto, Japanese Communication 1, Session 3, UHB 10802. Our group will be presenting about Hiroshima ni Ita Tomodachi. So this is our group member. First is Kelvin T. Mingjun, and then Li Jifei. The third one is Liao Xiaowei Wen. The fourth is Lo Jiawei. The fifth is Nuraina Najwa binti Salim. And lastly is myself, Shafiq Aiman. So this is the summary about our story. So in 1941, Imperial Japanese Army attacked British Malaya. And after that, in February 1942, Imperial Japanese Army occupied Malaya. In 1942, Japanese language classes started at a school in Malaya. 3 of them were selected as special students from Southeast Asia to study in Japan. Mr. Yusuf and Mr. Omar studied Japanese language in Tokyo from 1943. Mr. Raza has been studying Japanese in Tokyo since 1944. And on 6 August 1945, a very strong flashing light suddenly has fallen from the sky. Mr. Raza was buried in a broken building, but he was able to get out at last. He worked hard to save the other people, but failed. Many people passed away in a bomb, including 2 of his friends, Mr. Yusuf and Mr. Omar. So Mr. Yusuf and Mr. Omar, who studied together in Hiroshima, Mr. Yusuf found dead on August 7, and Mr. Omar passed away at the hospital in Kyoto 3 December on his way to Tokyo. After the war, the international students decided to return to their home countries and left Hiroshima for Tokyo. Mr. Raza was able to come back to his hometown in September 1945, and he became a Malaysian language teacher. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2010 at the age of 88. Mr. Raza was the sole Malaysian survivor of the Hiroshima bombing. So next is about our book review. So this is my book review. So based on the story Hiroshima ni Ita Tomodachi, is a truly splendid and amazing story that catches one feeling towards it. The book tells us about the story about 3 Malaysians, Mr. Yusuf, Mr. Omar, and Mr. Raza, that were involved in a bombing incident. The thing that the experience were truly a horrifying one and will deeply root in their minds, especially Mr. Raza. The bombing was caused by the United States, even though Mr. Raza was not physically injured, but he must felt the sorrowness of losing 2 of his friends during the incident. And then after the incident, Mr. Raza became a teacher that teaches Malay language at 1945, and then Japanese language at 1977. Moreover, the Japanese community built a grave for Mr. Yusuf and Mr. Omar as a memorial of the incident. A lot of emotions was involved within this book: sad, anxiety, fear, and others. To be honest, it was a great experience to read it. To be in Mr. Razak's position must possess a strong mental health to overcome all of this. Whatever happened to them must have a reason behind it, and the things that already happened in the past can be a guidance to help improve our current life in the present and future. So next presenter is Nuraina Najwa.
はじめまして。私は Nuraina Najwa です。So this is my book review from this story. From the book Hiroshima ni Ita Tomodachi, it's a Japanese novel written by Kokukaga. The title translates to The Friend Who Was in Hiroshima in English. The novel was published in 2010 and explored the themes of friendships, resilience, and the impact of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima during World War II. The story revolves around 2 main characters, Hiroshi and Kenji, who are childhood friends living in Hiroshima. The narrative takes place before, during, and after the atomic bombing of the city of 6 August 1945. Hiroshi and Kenji's lives are forever changed by the devastating event, and the novel delves into their personal experience and the challenge they face in the aftermath. Through the eyes of Hiroshi and Kenji, the author portrays the horrors of the atomic bombing and its profound effects on the people of Hiroshima. The novel also highlights the resilience and strength of the survivors as they strive to rebuild their life and find hope amidst the destruction. Hiroshima ni Ita Tomodachi offers a poignant and thought-provoking exploration of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable tragedy. It sheds light on the lasting impact of war and serves as a reminder of the importance of friendship, compassion, and understanding in times of adversity. So that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Nuraina Najwa, for your presentation. And then we have Liao Sewen for her book review.
はじめまして、私はヤシュウェンです。I would like to talk about my book review. Uncle Yusuf, Uncle Omar, and Uncle Raza risked their own lives to save others who were facing danger in the war. The war experience has a deep impact on these three, and the strategies story about the deaths of Encik Yusuf and Encik Omar, who died at a young age, 19 years old. This has provided a very powerful picture of the horrific humanitarian impact and moved people to fight and ensure that events like this will not happen in the future. An inspiring story is Nick Yusuf, who was involved in education in Hiroshima, was sacrificial during the Japanese rule and eventually died due to nuclear bomb radiation. The devoted himself to helping his friends defeat the risk to his health. This has led to the importance of respecting history and working to prevent future violence. This book motivates us to reflect on the value of world peace and recognition. We will not forget the sacrifice, but respect the history that has happened and will not repeat the mistake of the past. That's all for me.
Okay, and then next we have Kelvin T.
はじめまして、私は Kelvin T. Minjun です。This is my book review. The book talks about the atomic bomb in Hiroshima. Mr. Yusuf, Mr. Omar, and Mr. Razak were involved in a bombing incident. Mr. Razak was the only one who survived from the bombing incident. Without a doubt, war is terrible and the most devastating thing that can happen to humans. The human suffering includes injury, sexual violence, malnutrition, illness, and disability. It caused death and devastation, illness and poverty, humiliation and destruction. It took away many lives. This is more true now that atomic weapons will be used to fight a war. After I finish reading this book, I feel sad, feel anxiety, and depressed. I hope there will be no war in the world and everyone can live in peace. That's all for me. Thank you.
That was truly a splendid presentation by Kelvin T. And then we have Lee Jifei.
はじめまして、私はリュウジフェイです。This story talks about the experience of Mr. Razak when he was studying in Japan. Unfortunately, he was involved in the nuclear bomb attack. He lost two of his best friends, Mr. Omar and Mr. Yusuf. In that incident, the war is brutal and caused lots of life due to the greed. Mr. Razak is lucky as he survived from that attack. He was the only one of the three Malaysians who alive from the bombing incident. He also tried to rescue the survivor after he was secured. He witnesses many people die in the bombing incident. At last, he returns home safely and has a peaceful second half of the life. In this story, we can see that war sacrificed a lot of precious things such as family, friends, even own life. We also learned that incident is unpredictable as Mr. Razak lost his friends in a moment. We should always appreciate what we have for now. I learned that we need to appreciate for nowadays peaceful living. I feel lucky because I don't need to experience the second war. Thank you.
Okay, last but not least, we have Lo Jiawei.
はじめまして、私はロジャウェイです。From the book Hiroshima ni Ita Toromachi. The story is about adventurous journey of youth and also treaty of war along the globe. At the beginning of the story, three Malaysians, Mr. Yusuf, Mr. Omar, and Mr. Razak, were studying Japanese language in Tokyo, Japan. After that, they involved in bombing incident accident 3. Mr. Razak was the only one of the three Malaysians who arrived from the bombing incident. He rescued the other victims from the debris with other international students after his escape. Many people died in the bombing and incident. Then, in 1977, he became a Japanese language teacher. Mr. Razak always wished for peace. He always told people about Hiroshima, the horrible bomb, until he passed away in 2013 at the age of 88. This shows that Mr. Razak is a patient and kind person. Last but not least, we can know the consequences of war from the story. There were many people sacrificed in war. I hope that war could not happen in the future and all the world in peace. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentation, Lo Jiawei. So we can conclude that war does not bring anything good to us. It only brings disaster and sadness to ourselves and other people. So let's move on to the Q&A session. So firstly, how to pass down the story about war to generation to generation? Can one of you explain to me?
Yes. In my opinion, can share the story verbally within the family or community. Oral traditions has been a primary means of passing down story for generation. Encourage elders who experience the events to share their memories and perspectives. Next, can integrate war stories into educational initiatives. This can include school projects, community workshops, or presentation. Sharing story in an educational context helps ensure that the knowledge reaches a wider audience. Then we can also contribute documents or stories to local museums or historical exhibits. Museums play a crucial role in preserving and presenting history, and your contributions can help educate the public. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Liu Xiwen. And after that, the second question is, what can we do now? So, can anyone share their opinion?
There are some ways that we can do to prevent the wars. Okay, first, we can treat the other side with respect. Otherwise, you will lose them before you start. And second, we can recognize that there is a perception of injustice on both sides. This is the point of agreement adversaries can join in. And the third is be prepared for forgive and ask for forgiveness. Here, forgiveness means letting go of your desire for retribution and revenge. This is an act of true courage. Even if you believe that the other side does not deserve forgiveness, you deserve peace. Next, refrain from belligerence. It will be taken as bullying and arrows renew antagonism. And then the last one is use emotional intelligence, which means understanding the other side's feelings, giving them value and making them equal to your feelings. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for sharing your opinion. So, to be precise, the next question is, what is the war?
War is an intense army conflict between state, government, society, or paramilitary. As we know in this story also, it's about Japanese army attack British Malay, and every year have a conflict between states, country, or another else. And in this story also, have a 3% were selected as special students from Southeast Asia to study in Japan, which is Mr. Razak, Mr. Yusuf, and Mr. Omar. And moreover, in this war has involved the death of 2 people between them because of quite horrible bomb. So actually, the war is include the bomb and many else of the army was using. So that's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Nuraina. So, after the war, we will gain peace. So, can someone explain to me what is peace?
Yes. Peace generally refers to a state of tranquility or quietness. Peace often characterized by the absence of disturbance, violence, conflict, or war. It can exist on various levels, including personal peace within oneself, interpersonal peace in relationships, and societal peace on a broader scale. Peace is not just the absence of conflict, but also it composes positive elements such as harmony, cooperation, and mutual understanding. Achieving and maintaining peace often involves diplomacy, negotiation, conflict resolution, and efforts to address underlying causes of tension or strife. Peace can be viewed from different perspectives, including political, social, cultural, and personal dimensions. It is a fundamental concept in various philosophies, religions, and ethical systems, emphasizing the value of harmony and the well-being of individuals and societies. That's all from me. Thank you.
So, last but not least, we have the suggestion to create a peaceful society.
In my opinion, we need to explore the volunteer opportunities. Volunteering is a great way to help us, and it may also be a good way to promote peace. Local anti-violence organizations may have a need for volunteers to outreach or other programs. However, don't limit our consideration just to organizations focusing on the violence. Any opportunity to better the community or society, from monitoring to pick up trash to participating in after-school programs for children, will allow us to meet the new people in our community and promote a sense of togetherness and cooperation. The second one is to explore our community history. The first way is to visit the local library. This can help us to learn about regional and national history. This is because no community will exist in a vacuum. So we learn about the history of our state, region, or country will deepen our understanding of how our society fits into the world. We will also learn how major political shift and military conflict may be affected our society. The third one is to become more familiar to our society. Getting to know individuals from many different backgrounds and walk of life within our society may give us a new perspective on the problem facing our society. So there are some ways to get know the other people and place in our community. The first one is to introducing ourselves to people. And the second one is we can connect with our neighbor, and we can also visit the new place. And last one is we can walk around to our neighborhood. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your suggestion. So that is the end of our Q&A session.